A very good morning and welcome. You're watching The Breakfast Club with me, Hem Kaur Saroya. Lots lined up for you. The countdown, though, to the CNN News 18 flagship event has officially begun. Since 2006, CNN News 18's Indian of the Year has honored individuals whose determination, vision and achievements have shaped the nation's story. And this year, we continue that legacy, celebrating the invincible icons who inspire India forward. Members of the women's cricket team, ICC President Jai Shah, members of Indian women's blind cricket team, and Gen Z stars like Ahan Pandey and Aneet Padda will grace this event. Watch the grand finale. Do not miss it at 6 p.m. this evening.
They define excellence and then go further. They are invincible icons that inspire billions. Chosen by an eminent jury through a rigorous selection process.
Incredible. I'm in awe. I'm inspired.
It's an assembly line of brilliance.
Who will be crowned CNN News 18 Indian of the Year 2025? Stay tuned to the grand finale today at 6 p.m. on CNN News 18. Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Wardrobe Partner, Reed & Taylor, Bond with the Best. Powered by Reliance Industries Limited. In association with HDFC Sky. Make money matter. Explore more. Express more. LIC, Har Pal Aapke Saath. And Polycab, India's safe, happy connection.
All right, here's a quick look at what we've lined up for you on The Breakfast Club this morning. A series of new studies have uncovered something rather troubling. They've raised an alarm about India's growing dependence on ultra-processed foods. The findings link these ready-to-eat packaged products to rising obesity. Further studies reveal the worrying presence of microplastics from food packaging making their way into the human body, including our brain. It's a wake-up call to look at not just what we eat, but what it comes wrapped in also. Also on The Breakfast Club, our person of interest, journalist and author Prince Mathew Thomas, joins us today. He's the man behind the SIS story, the inside look at how RK Sinha built one of India's largest security and services companies. He'll take us through the moments, the choices and the people that shaped this journey. And then a quick weekend cheat sheet for all of you, where we bring you the must-watch movies in theatres and the top OTT releases you just can't miss. And if you've... Alright, so if you've ever grabbed a packet of chips, a fizzy drink or a quick instant snack thinking it's harmless, this new Lancet finding may make you rethink that. The latest Lancet study, a series of studies that they've done, it has issued a strong warning about India's growing love for ultra-processed foods or UPFs. So let's start with the basics. What exactly are ultra-processed foods? These are factory-made foods high in sugar, salt, unhealthy fats, packed with additives and designed to trigger cravings. Think chips, biscuits, sugary drinks, ready-to-eat snacks. So why are these foods harmful? Because they are engineered for overeating, low in nutrients, high in additives, and often take the place of real natural food. And here's the worrying part. India has become the fastest growing market for ultra-processed food in the world. Sales have grown 150% in the past 15 years. We're replacing traditional meals with fast foods and aggressive marketing. Celebrity endorsements and constant offers are pulling in children and young adults the most. But if we know that processed food is harmful for us, why can't we just stop? Because, well, they're cheap, they're convenient, they're available everywhere. From schools to workplaces, healthier foods are often costlier. Labels can be very confusing. Marketing is relentless. And taste enhancers make these foods extremely addictive, craveable. So what can we realistically do? Experts say reduce packaged convenience foods. Check ingredient lists. Watch sugar, salt, fat levels. Ignore flashy healthy, organic claims and choose products with clear nutrition labels. The Lancet panel has called for warning labels, bans for kids, taxing unhealthy packaged food, and treating ultra-processed food consumption as a national health priority. And while we're talking about what goes inside our body, another worrying study looks at something we can't see entering us. It's plastics that I'm talking about, microplastics. Even your water bottle may be sending microplastics right into your bloodstream. Everyday items like bottles, wrappers, containers shed plastic fragments. Eating hot or acidic food in them makes it worse. These particles travel through the body, settle in our organs. And these microplastics can cross the blood-brain barrier, disturb neuron signaling, and may impair memory and cognition. Long-term exposure to these increases inflammation, affects hormones and fertility, disrupts the gut, and may raise heart and stroke risks. Experts say the solution starts small: switch to steel or glass bottles, cut down on packaged foods, avoid hot food in plastic, and pick products with minimal packaging. If this is the health reality of today, what does tomorrow look like for us? Let's discuss that with our guest. Joining me today, Dr. Arun Gupta, co-author of the Lancet study and former member of the Prime Minister's Council on India's Nutrition Challenges and convener Nutrition Advocacy for Public Interest. Also joining me, Kumar Bagrodia, founder and lead neuroscientist at NeuroLeap. Thank you so much for joining me this morning. Now, Dr. Gupta, let me come to you first. India's UPF sales have grown. Are we sleepwalking into a nutrition crisis?
Absolutely, yes. I think you've said it all in your opening comments about what are these foods, so I don't get into that because it's a kind of I call it a ticking time bomb of obesity. Like during the same period when the ultra processed food have grown, market has grown by 150% in India. The same period, the obesity rate has doubled in India, which is very, very alarming for us. And we have 1 in 4 individual adults, men and women, having diabetes by the national studies done in 2021. So this is where I think we are really heading towards a unprecedented non-communicable disease epidemic, so to say, which will increase the number of heart diseases, depression, hypertension, and even all-cause mortality. When Lancet authors did this whole meta-analysis, we found that there is a significant risk, and there's significant risk in some of the trials also, that if the dietary pattern changes, it actually, one has to remember these 3 Ds. It actually displaces your real food and then degrades your dietary quality and then leads to disease. So that's why I think, yes, we are slipping into unless we check on them.
Right, absolutely. So the 3 Ds there, I will talk about ultra-processed foods further with you. Let's just also bring in Mr. Kumar Bagrodia, neuroscientist, founder of Healthy Aging Longevity Enhancement. Thank you so much for joining us this morning on The Breakfast Club. You have written extensively on microplastics and how they are entering our bloodstreams, affecting our brains as well. Mr. Bagrodia, I want to begin by asking you what are some of the main findings, and what is something that you would like for our viewers to know about this crisis, this silent crisis that up until now perhaps we didn't really focus on as much?
Thank you for inviting me and highlighting this important issue, Haim. Whilst we rightly so focus on the kind of foods, whether ultra-processed, whether whole foods, whether organic, that we're eating, let's also understand that those are ultimately biological substances. However bad for health, they can be processed easily by the body. And the body has a mechanism to excrete and recover from them. Imagine taking in substances which your body is not meant to intake, which is plastics. So every liter of water that you consume from a plastic bottle is releasing 250,000 microplastic pieces into your body. If you're consuming 2 to 3 liters of water in a day, whether it's from a large plastic jug or a bottle or a plastic water filter where it's been stored for a few days or an hour or two, imagine the number of microplastics you're ingesting. Now, some of these again are processed by the body, it moves out through excretion, but there is still a huge component which remains. And now there are studies across the world where microplastics have been found in abundant quantities in the brain, in the arteries, in your kidneys, in your liver, in your gut, and you'll be shocked, moving around in your bloodstream. All of us, urban individuals, on an average, can expect to have a size of a grain of rice, that amount of microplastics circulating in our blood at any point in time. Almost 0.5% of our brain is made up of plastic by volume and weight. For Alzheimer's patients, they are finding that almost 2.5% of their brains are made up of plastic now. So it is a crisis, and more so for children, pregnant women, lactating mothers. Plastic is finding its way in the placenta. And think about children, their cells, their brain, everything is still in the formative years, and we are subjecting them to huge dosages of microplastics throughout the day, throughout these formative years.
Right, absolutely. Now, Dr. Gupta, let me just come bring you into this conversation as well. How closely linked do you think these two are? Because when we are talking about ultra-processed foods also, let's say a packet of instant noodles, that's also coming in packaged in plastic. That is one threat. And then the substance within the plastic wrapper itself. So really, what's the way out of this? Because these are so easily available, these are convenient, these are cheap. Sometimes people are so busy, they just don't have the time. It may seem harmless. And that's pretty much where the conversation comes back to, that we're sleepwalking into our way into a nutritional crisis.
I couldn't agree more with. The problems are multifold, no doubt, and there is a risk that almost every ultra-processed food product, so I don't call them foods now, they are products of industrial origin, they come in plastics, most of them. So whether it's a drink or a solid food product, they come in plastics, and it's a huge danger, and a lot of research is going on globally on the not only on this also, as well as the degradation of the environment also by the same plastic which we are dealing with. So we may not be able to stop manufacturing, but I think the areas of control of consumption are the ones which we need to look into. How do we actually reduce the consumption? Currently, we are moving very rapidly towards achieving what UK and United States have gone beyond. 50% of their dietary pattern is ultra processed. Now that's India is not that high at the moment, but it's rapidly growing towards that. So we have a chance. The authors also very collectively thought about it, that countries who are on a low consumption or beginning to consume have a much brighter chance to actually control it than the countries who have gone beyond 50% or 35% or so. So India stands at an opportunity for us to actually take a quick call on this issue.
Absolutely. Mr. Bagrodia, I want to come back to you on the issue of microplastics as well. Of course, you are an expert on this subject. How are these microplastics entering the bloodstream, even crossing into the human brain? That is something, if you could just spell it out for our viewers, so more clarity, and for them to really understand what sort of an effect these packaged foods can have on us. And we're not even realizing this. And of course, I'm given to understand that you are very passionate about this as well, and you really want our viewers to know what they can do to further mobilize against this.
Right. Most of the plastic that's entering our body is ingested orally, usually from food, bottled water, and sometimes, through air pollution as well. When you're drinking water from plastic bottles, when you're heating food in a plastic container, or when you get a food delivery, which is in a plastic container, and hot food was placed on it. Those are some of the instances where the food enters your body and it's laced with microplastics. What happens is that your gut lining actually starts leaking via a paracellular system, or it is being carried inside your body via the immune cells. And then through the bloodstream, it can actually, go through the blood-brain barrier. It starts going into various organs, where some of the organs are working hard to sort of pass this out. So again, the kidneys, liver, but obviously there is some residue left behind. In addition to the microplastics, what's also happening is the chemicals. Now, those are directly impacting your hormone system. Those are impacting your neurological system. So the plastic pieces as well as the chemicals, both together, are a deadly combination which are disrupting several processes in our body, because our bodies were never meant to be able to clear these out all the time, every single day. One of the initiatives, that I am proposing is that we really start a movement of making children, parents, mothers aware about the risks of using plastic containers, plastic tiffin boxes, plastic bottles. This is a zero cost, a zero effort initiative where we just have to be aware of reducing the intake of plastic. So perhaps a hashtag campaign around plastic nahi, health sahi, or say no to plastic, yes to health. And thank you if your channel can get this message out to millions of people across the world and in India who can just be aware and stop ingesting plastic.
Absolutely. Now, Dr. Gupta, let me just come to you on that as well. There was some mention of putting labels on these ultra-processed foods. How far do you think these can go to actually inform the consumers of the effects of the ultra-processed foods that we are ingesting? Should India put warning labels, restrictions, the same way perhaps that we do for tobacco, other harmful substances?
Yeah, that's a very important point you have raised. Is the beginning of reducing the consumption of such products, it begins with some kind of alert and warning to the people. So globally, we have found the evidence supports a warning label, such as the product on the front of the label, which is now covered with healthy kind of claims, should show that the product is high in sugar, high in salt, or high in fats or energy. And also we are recommending that indication of UPF markers such as colors, flavors and emulsifiers and all that. So that actually indicates to people that it could be harmful to their body, short or long term. We are saying that is going to be helpful. Secondly, the point urgency lies in that this is more than 12 years now India is working on this policy. So I urge the government of India to move quickly towards this. This is very, very important policy that warning label is put right on the front of the packet. And in addition, actually, to further reduce the consumption, I would put it as a first before the warning label even, because you decide what you said earlier, you decide to buy when you have a emotionally bound advertisement, run by celebrities. And then you have offers like buy one, get one free. Full page of newspapers, TV and social media and all that is full of such products. So companies spend huge amount, billions on the advertisement. These products are not made for your health or even for your food. They are empty calories sometimes. They are only made to increase the profits of these companies. So that is the objective of any manufacturer. They want to make money for their shareholders. So we need to stop that advertising. When we fix a benchmark on the level of sugar or salt or fat, and then stop advertisement of products which are beyond that. That might force them to turn to only minimally processed foods. So companies can make money. We are not against companies making money. It's not a point. You must understand that. So companies, so all processing is not bad. I want to clarify that also. For example, you can buy yogurt in the market, which is simple yogurt, milk, curdled, fermented. It is also processed, right? But it doesn't contain any color or emulsifier. The moment you buy a flavored yogurt, it has sugar, it has color, it has emulsifier, and it's attractive, advertised. So that is ultra processed. So what I am suggesting is the companies should divert their attention towards processed foods, which are minimally processed, and whole foods are available in the processing. So for example, you can buy fruits which are canned, which are preserved. You can still increase their shelf life, but not necessarily getting into the years of shelf life by plastic wraps and industrially manufacturing them. Slowly, I urge the government should make policies towards production, marketing, and consumption of these products in such a way that slowly the populations are protected for their health.
Right. Absolutely. Now, of course, that's very important to mention as well. And thank you so much for bringing that up, sir, that not all processed foods are the same. Mr. Bagrodia, also coming back to you on the issue of microplastics, I just want to understand what kind of neurological changes perhaps have been witnessed in studies when microplastics do disrupt the neuron signaling, and what does that really mean for our viewers?
So I must clarify that there are several studies which are looking at animal models, which are looking at cells individually, not necessarily looking at living humans. But there is evidence that there is oxidative stress, neuroinflammation. Plastics can activate the immune response in the brain through the microglia. And it can release an inflammatory signal that will interfere with your regular neuronal function. Also, what we see is that plastics disrupt the mitochondrial or the energy in the body and in the brain. So basically, it can impair the cellular energy pathways, making the neuron's ability to fire and recover slower and impaired. And the third and most important one is that there are changes in the synaptic and signaling ability. So in lab studies, they have reported that the neurotransmitter levels get altered and proteins, synaptic proteins get disrupted, and they alter the exposure to the neuron's ability to sort of signal any kind of emotional, cognitive, behavioral patterns. So all of these can be degraded.
All right. Now, Dr. Gupta, coming back to the point that you were making earlier as well, talking about how all processed foods are not the same. From where we stand, as of now, it appears as though the responsibility to discern whether this particular processed food is good for me, this is okay, this is absolutely a no-no, is really on the consumer. A lot of the labels that we see, we may not understand half the ingredient list, right? So, for people to break it down for them, what are some actionable steps that can be taken today? What are some things that are complete no-nos when we're looking at packaged foods and their ingredient lists? And how do people discern whether the labels that have been put, we see organic labels, we see healthy labels, how do we discern that?
No, I think whatever is put on the labels, actually it's trusted that it is correct information is given. For the food products, I would suggest that if just check the ingredient list, if it contains some of the additives like colors and flavors, I mean simply, and look at the terms like which we don't understand, like E420, E1217, or numbers or stabilizers or emulsifiers, or all these actually are UPF markers. So they can. Secondly, they can understand. Yesterday, somebody gifted a cake. So the first ingredient on the cake was a sugar. So when I look at the ingredient and then the nutrition information, you find 25%. So it was the first ingredient. So ingredients are also listed in the weightage form. The first ingredient is the highest weightage in the product. So if you have sugar listed 1, 2, or 3, it means you are doing a very high consumption of that product. So these are the areas which need to be. Don't go by any health claims which are given. Don't go by any celebrity promotions of those products which induces you to buy them. So that's an important marker. If you want to go further into, for example, go into the nutrition information on the back of the pack. At the moment, front of the pack doesn't have such information. So back of the pack have a lot of information about how much is the sugar, how much is the total fat, how much is the salt. So a simple calculation which we do so far is not a regulation in India that should be there. 10% of total sugar, 10% of total fat, and 1 milligram per kilocalorie of sodium. That is how they are marked.
All right.
If it is higher than that, it is harmful to the health of your body.
All right. All right, Dr. Gupta and Mr. Bagrodia. So those are some actionable steps that our viewers can take note of. Avoid plastic at all costs. Do whatever you can. Look at your labels carefully. Additives, color, complete no-no. And of course, the first thing on the ingredient list is at the highest percentage in the makeup of that product. So these are some actionable steps. Dr. Gupta and Mr. Bagrodia, thank you so much for joining me on The Breakfast Club. It's an honor to be able to speak to you both.
Thank you very much for having us. Thanks a lot.
Thank you. Thank you.
All right, and coming up next after this very short break, our person of interest today is journalist and author Prince Mathew Thomas, the man behind the SIS story. We'll bring you that story on the other side. Do stay tuned.
After hitting opponents out of the park, Deepti Sharma is all set to make a splash on a star-studded evening. At RP Sanjeev Goenka Group presents CNN News 18 Indian of the Year. Today at 6 p.m. on CNN News 18.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies. Wardrobe Partner, Reed & Taylor, Bond with the Best. Powered by Reliance Industries Limited. In association with HDFC Sky. Make money matter. Explore more. Express more. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. And Polycab, India's safe, happy connection. This is News 18.
Long night?
You have no idea.
I got you.
Motorola Edge 60 Pro. Hello, Moto.
Stay ahead with News 18. News from your city in your language. Real-time updates, in-depth analysis, and breaking news. Anytime, anywhere. Only on the News 18 app. Scan and download the News 18 app now.
Hello, Moto.
सल्यूट है जी। आप देश की रक्षा में जान लगा देते हैं और आप घर घर में तार लगाते हैं जी। ई बीम टेक्नोलॉजी से बनी, न जले न पिघले, सबकी रक्षा करे।
हम सरहद पर लोगों की रक्षा करते हैं और आप देश के अंदर। सल्यूट तो बनता है जी।
अपार अनुशक्ति फायर प्रोटेक्ट वायर, अपार देश का तार।
I'm joined by Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan, former member of the NSAB, and I want to ask you, sir, India has always guarded its nuclear generation as a strategic domain. Now, with FDI on the table, what concrete safeguards ensure that foreign equity cannot influence operational decisions or strategic policy, sir?
Thank you for having me on your show. A couple of things on this. There are a number of sectors which are held as a strategy for quite some time now. Some time back, of course, we opened the space sector. At the moment, we are trying to open the nuclear sector. So, why this is happening is there are 2-3 things. One is when we are going into the production of semiconductors, etc. You need a high fidelity kind of electricity that needs to be given to those companies. And in a grid, it may be difficult to achieve that. So therefore, if you put small modular reactors, that becomes that much easier. That is one point. The second point is on the environmental issues, we have committed that we will become carbon neutral by 2017. So to achieve that, you need to increase the other modalities of power supply. One is, of course, the hydroelectric power. The other one is, of course, wind power, wind generated power, and third one is the nuclear power. So this is another aspect that I think we need to keep in mind. Without the private participation, I think this may be very difficult to achieve because intergovernmental issues have got other issues, and the technology is difficult to come by. And so, if you open the private sector, it will come up.
So I'm joined by Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan, former member of the NSAB. And I want to ask you, sir, India has always guarded its nuclear generation as a strategic domain. Now, with FDI on the table, what concrete safeguards ensure that foreign equity cannot influence operational decisions or strategic policy, sir?
Thank you for having me on your show. A couple of things on this. There are a number of sectors which are held as a strategy for quite some time now. Some time back, of course, we opened the space sector. At the moment, we are trying to open the nuclear sector. So, why this is happening is there are 2-3 things. One is when we are going into the production of semiconductors, etc. You need a high fidelity kind of electricity that needs to be given to those companies. And in a grid, it may be difficult to achieve that. So therefore, if you put small modular reactors, that becomes that much easier. That is one point. The second point is on the environmental issues, we have committed that we will become carbon neutral by 2017. So to achieve that, you need to increase the other modalities of power supply. One is, of course, the hydroelectric power. The other one is, of course, wind power, wind generated power, and third one is the nuclear power. So this is another aspect that I think we need to keep in mind. Without the private participation, I think this may be very difficult to achieve because intergovernmental issues have got other issues, and the technology is difficult to come by. And so, if you open the private sector, it will come up. So, if you look at the statement, there is also another statement which he made to say that bigger projects, bigger nuclear reactors can be done in collaboration with NPCIL. There is a Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited.
Yeah.
So, if you put all this together, I think this sector is going to be opened up and it is going to be good for us. Okay. Is what I'm getting to.
So let me bring in. Okay, so let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mr. Mitra, emphasis nowadays has been on Swadeshi. So will this move actually reduce our dependence on foreign suppliers or risk creating a new long-term sort of strategic vulnerability, the kind that we've had to face with imports of weapons and this, that, the other, because we haven't really gone and developed our own?
I think what is being done here is, look, big reactors are fantastic for,
Watch Harpreet Kaur as she joins India's invincible icons at RP Sanjeev Goenka Group presents CNN News 18 Indian of the Year today at 6 p.m. on CNN News 18.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies. Wardrobe partner, Reed & Taylor, bound with the best. Powered by Reliance Industries Limited, in association with HDFC Sky. Make money matter. Explore more. Express more. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. And Polycab, India's safe, happy connection.
Welcome back to the Breakfast Club. Thank you so much for staying with us. Our person of interest today is a journalist and author, Prince Mathew Thomas, the man behind this one, the SIS story. His book tracks the rise of R.K. Sinha and the building of one of India's biggest security and services companies. He cuts through the noise to show the decisions, the leadership and the pivotal moments that have shaped SIS into what it is today. He's known for his clear analysis, sharp reporting and the ability to decode India's biggest corporate stories with simplicity and depth. And he's written extensively on major business houses, economic trends and forces that shape India. Work that has earned him a reputation for insight and credibility. And this latest project, this book that I'm holding right here, the SIS story, brings that same clarity to the rise of one of India's largest security and services companies, tracing the leadership choices, the risks and the scale of an organization that now spans continents. Today he joins us to take us inside the making of SIS and the story behind the success. Prince Mathew Thomas, thank you so much for joining us in the studio this morning.
Thanks so much for having me.
Of course, I have to begin by asking you, how did you come up with this book? How did you decide that this is the story that you wanted to focus on?
The first time I came across SIS was about 13 years ago when I was doing this writing for Forbes India. And I met Ravindra Kishore Sinha and his son Rituraj. And by then itself, they had made quite a mark. They were just off an acquisition in Australia. And this was a company which was 5 times the size of SIS. So it was quite an incredibly gutsy acquisition at that time. And that was the attention that got them. And I wrote about the acquisition that they had done. And since then I've been tracking them. They got listed on the stock exchanges in 2017. So they have quite a following among investors too. And this year marks the 50th year since the company was founded. And I thought that the journey from interiors of Bihar to across India, now international, and it is the largest services company in India. It is the largest services company in Australia, among the largest in New Zealand, Singapore. So you don't find such stories often, where a company that started off a garage from Patna has become a multinational services company out of India. And given the milestone of this year, we all thought that this is a great, rich material for a book. And these 50 years actually span across the evolution of Indian economy too, right from the license Raj to the liberalization of the 90s to where India is today among the largest economies in the world. And SIS growth and journey has almost mirrored that growth in India. And that's why we thought, this is a business story, an entrepreneur story. It's also a story about how the business makes a transition from a first generation to second generation. So a lot of things to learn for anyone here. And I think at the end of the story, end of the day, it's a very entertaining story too for anyone to read.
Right, and just to expand on that a little more,
sure.
What really got you hooked? Was it the man? Was it the madness? Was it the scale? What really got you hooked?
Actually, the man himself, because Ravindra Kishore, he's not from a business family. So he didn't grow up listening to business stories about how businesses were done. And he didn't have, like you call today in the startup world, the seed money to start a business. And he was an accidental entrepreneur. He was actually a journalist. It just happened that after he lost his job, and he was very close to Jayaprakash Narayan, a very well-known political leader of that time. And Jayaprakash Narayan gave him that idea, why don't you help retired army personnel find jobs? And this is how it started. It started from a social good about trying to help others. But because he wanted to do this well, he formed a business. And when you start a business, you have to follow regulations, you have to have a structure to it. And just slowly, organically, it built. And he was not an MBA student, but he had that very raw entrepreneurial spirit and the instinct and the risk-taking ability, which helped him take a lot of decisions that may seem right out of management books, but I think it was coming from a very rustic, instinct-filled entrepreneur. And through these 50 years, I think he's taken a lot of risk, a lot of unusual calls, a lot of passion in people. And because this is a people-centric business, SIS employs about 3 lakh people. It is among the top 5 companies in the country to employ among the largest number of people. So quite a journey, quite a journey. So he himself, his story, and then his son Rituraj Sinha, who took over about 25 years ago, right in the almost in the middle of this 50 years journey.
Right.
That transition from an Indian company to a multinational and then diversifying into various other verticals, that happened under Rituraj. So both Mr. Sinha and Rituraj, quite exceptional entrepreneurs, and it's very unusual to find two generations of very, very good entrepreneurs in the same family.
Right, and in fact, I was reading some excerpts where you mentioned generational succession as well, and how that is something that really was different about this story. That being said, what do you think surprised you most about the hustle years when you talk about setting up the SIS? What was the one thing that stood out to you?
What amazed me was that, some of these management fundas that we read, usually come from business books of experience from of entrepreneurs from the US or from Europe. But when you read about him, when I researched about him, right from the 60s and the 70s, even before he's heard about these companies like Hewlett-Packard, he was doing things in a way that defined entrepreneurship globally. Be it starting a training academy, which was unheard of not just in India but even the global security services industry, or bringing in computers. This is in the 1980s when computers were not very common. And he brought all that to a security company, which was unheard of, because we think a security company is a neighborhood business. But he's really scaled it beyond Bihar, beyond India. And I think his story is absolutely amazing, because there are instances in the book, and you would read, where he's talking about personal risk and challenges that he had to take. I think that's quite exceptional. Yeah.
Of course, you've had to do a lot of research. You've had a lot of sit-downs with them as well. Is there any anecdote of Mr. Sinha that you think our viewers should know about?
Well, there is one, because in the initial years, much of the services that the SIS was rendering was for all industrial units, and these were in the interiors, and these could be your factories, manufacturing setups, and also mining mines. And as we know, most of the mines is also an area where a lot of mafias are there.
Right.
So there is one instance in the book where he himself goes, Ravindra Kishore Sinha, and engages with the mafia don, because this mafia guy was troubling his client. So it's quite an insightful way of how he did business, went out of his way to help his client, because it was not his brief to go and meet the the local mafia guy. But he does that. He engages with him, convinces this mafia guy to lay off his client. And this interaction between the two, where this youngster and no one who is going and talking to the mafia guy in his own den, that is quite an exceptional, I think, chapter out of the book. And if you read that, there's a lot of color, there's a lot of risk-taking ability that comes through, and also plain speak. I think that that really underlined the way he did his business.
All right, and for our viewers, if you had to tell them something about the process, what your learnings were in this entire process, I believe you only had about less than a year to write this.
That's right.
What would you tell them?
I think it was about keeping the two personalities in the center of the story, and that I think also helped me structure the book, which is about Ravindra Kishore Sinha and Rituraj Sinha, and both of them are exceptional personalities. And I think if we concentrate on sticking to the basics and build the story around the characters that you have, they are like the heroes of the story of this book. And that actually helped me. And like you said, usually books like this take about a couple of years. We had around 11 months to do it.
Right.
And almost 60 interactions and many hours of transcriptions and things like that. So the process was very intense. And what helped was, I think, the stories of Ravindra Kishore Sinha and Rituraj Sinha. And that kind of helped push me also kind of do the book here.
All right, and that was a Herculean feat, of course, and many, many congratulations to you for finally having gotten this done. This is out there now, the SIS story, how an accidental entrepreneur from Bihar built a global services conglomerate. Mr. Thomas, thank you so much for joining us on The Breakfast Club. It's been a pleasure talking to you.
Thanks so much for having me.
All right, and moving on then, Friday is here and so is our list of what to watch in theatres and on OTT. Take a look at this special report by Kaveri Gupta. Here it is.
Hello everyone, I'm Kaveri Gupta and welcome back to Thank God It's Friday, your ultimate weekend guide. Friday is here and so is a list of what to watch in theatres, on the OTT and where to go to attend those events. So grab your popcorn because we are diving right in. In theatres, first up we have Gustakh Ishq. Fatima Sana Sheikh and Vijay Verma star in this romantic drama where poetry, tea and tender moments spark a fresh love story until misunderstandings tear them apart. Their pairing alone is enough to draw audiences in. Next in theatres is Tere Ishq Mein. Dhanush and Kriti Saran team up in Anand El Rai's high-intensity romantic drama. With the buzz around this new pairing and Rai's past hits with Dhanush, this one could be a box office game changer. Last but not the least is Zootopia 2. Zudy Hopps and Nick Wilde return to solve a wild new mystery that appends Zootopia. Expect comedy, chaos and undercover missions. A perfect family entertainer with Shraddha Kapoor voicing a key role in the Hindi version. But if you're feeling lazy, we have a full list of series and movies on OTT you can definitely binge watch. Streaming on Netflix is Stranger Things Season 5 Volume 1, the beginning of the final chapter. Set in 1987, Hawkins is reeling from the open rifts as the gang comes together to hunt down the missing Vecna, all while the government hunts 11 and town goes into lockdown. On number 2 is Sunny Sanskari Ki Tulsi Kumari, streaming on Netflix again. Varun Dhawan and Janhvi Kapoor star in this rom-com where two exes reunite at a wedding and old sparks fly again. Sania Malhotra and Rohit Sharaf join the fun. Last but not the least is Kantara, a Legend Chapter 1. The Hindi version of the acclaimed prequel arrives this week. Set in the Kadamba dynasty era, it follows Bedme, a tribal leader, as he clashes with the Bangra kingdom to protect his people. But if you are up and about kind of a person, let us take you to the ground. Comedian Max Amini is ready to spread his magic in India because he is performing live in Mumbai tomorrow, and the global star Hum Sabka favorite Veer Das is also performing tomorrow but in Chennai 8 PM onwards. Well, that's all the time we have in this edition. We'll be back next Friday with a lots more. Stay tuned and have an amazing weekend. Tab tak ke liye, bye-bye.
All right, from the passing of Bollywood legend Dharmendra just before his 90th birthday to Selina Jaitley's domestic violence complaint and the sudden postponement of Palash Muchal and Smriti Mandhana's wedding, we've got all the latest drama from Bollywood and beyond. Shilpa Shetty-Kundra fights to protect her identity online and Jennifer Lopez turns heads with a controversial performance in India. Taris Chaudhary brings all this and more. Take a look.
Hello there. On the entertainment front, this has been a rather eventful week. Let's take a quick look. Dharmendra passed away just days before his 90th birthday. The news came shortly after his family expressed frustration earlier this month when false death rumors were circulating online. The late legend was recently discharged from Breach Candy Hospital following treatment for breathlessness and was reportedly recovering at home. His last rites in cremation was attended by Amitabh Bachchan, Shah Rukh Khan, Salman Khan, Amir Khan and Ranveer Singh, among many others. Dharmendra's swan song 21 is slated for a release in December. Selina Jaitley has filed a domestic violence complaint against her husband, Austrian hotelier Peter Hug. In a statement, she said that her priority remains fighting for her children's love and her own dignity. Her lawyer has exclusively told us that the grounds on which she has filed for a divorce include emotional and verbal cruelty, physical violence, manipulation, coercion, and financial control. Reportedly, Peter had filed another divorce case in Austria. Additionally, he had hidden her passport and took away her debit and credit cards. Palash Muchal and Smriti Mandhana's wedding, scheduled for November 23rd, was indefinitely postponed just hours before the grand ceremony. While both families cited Smriti's father's sudden health scare as the reason, the internet is swarming with unverified theories. Palash, according to his mother, also had to be admitted at a Mumbai hospital as the situation took an emotional toll on him. Soon after Smriti removed her engagement post from Instagram, allegations of infidelity surfaced. Palash and Smriti are yet to comment on it. After Amitabh Bachchan, Karan Johar, Aishwarya Rai Bachchan and Chiranjeevi, Shilpa Shetty Kundra has now filed a case in the Bombay High Court seeking personality rights protection to safeguard her identity from being treated as a commodity. The suit includes names of several websites which use or have used her picture illegally. As per her lawyer, this commercial exploitation of her identity is an outright assault on her dignity and hard-earned reputation. Reportedly, the surfacing of various morphed pictures and videos prompted Shilpa to take such a step. And Jennifer Lopez marked her second trip to India to perform at American billionaire Rama Raju Mandena's daughter's wedding. J-Lo entertained the guests with a full concert performing some of her most popular songs like On the Floor, Ain't Your Mama and Get Right, among others. Videos of her performance at the wedding were widely circulated on social media. However, her look in a risque bodysuit seems to have offended many, who felt it was a massive cultural sensitivity fail and questioned her judgment of clothing in an Indian wedding. That's all for this week. I'll see you soon.
After hitting opponents out of the park, Deepti Sharma is all set to make a splash on a star-studded evening at RP Sanjeev Goenka Group presents CNN News 18 Indian of the Year. Today at 6 p.m. on CNN News 18.
Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, growing legacies. Wardrobe partner, Reed & Taylor, bond with the best. Powered by Reliance Industries Limited, in association with HDFC Sky. Make money matter. Explore more. Express more. LIC, हर पल आपके साथ. And Polycab, India's safe, happy connection. This is News 18.
I'm joined by Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan, former member of the NSAB. And I want to ask you, sir, India has always guarded its nuclear generation as a strategic domain. Now, with FDI on the table, what concrete safeguards ensure that foreign equity cannot influence operational decisions or strategic policy, sir?
Thank you for having me on your show. A couple of things on this. There are a number of sectors which are held as a strategy for quite some time now. Some time back, of course, we opened the space sector. At the moment, we are trying to open the nuclear sector. So, why this is happening is, there are 2-3 things. One is, when we are going into the production of semiconductors, etc., you need a high fidelity kind of electricity that needs to be given to those companies. And in a grid, it may be difficult to achieve that. So therefore, if you put small modular reactors, that becomes that much easier. That is one point. The second point is, on the environmental issues, we have committed that we will become carbon neutral by 2017. So to achieve that, you need to increase the other modalities of power supply. One is, of course, the hydroelectric power. The other one is, of course, wind generated power. And third one is the nuclear power. So this is another aspect that I think we need to keep in mind. Without the private participation, I think this may be very difficult to achieve because intergovernmental issues have got other issues, and the technology is difficult to come by. And so if you open the private sector, it will come up. So if you look at the statement, there is also another statement which he made to say that bigger projects, bigger nuclear reactors can be done in collaboration with NPCIL. There is a Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited.
Yeah.
So if you put all this together, I think this sector is going to be opened up and it is going to be good for us. Okay. Is what I'm getting to.
So let me bring in.
Understand.
Okay, so let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mr. Mitra, emphasis nowadays has been on Swadeshi. So will this move actually reduce our dependence on foreign suppliers or risk creating a new long-term sort of strategic vulnerability, the kind that we've had to face with imports of weapons and this, that, the other, because we haven't really gone and developed our own?
I think what is being done
All right, and welcome back to the Breakfast Club. Next, we bring to you a special segment on financial markets, which is powered by Money Control Pro, Money Control's premium destination for investing in business insights. Now, Indian equity markets are likely to open flat as seen in the GIFT Nifty. Asian stocks were jittery in early trades this morning as positive sentiment lost momentum. Crude oil prices opened lower as OPEC meet on production along with ceasefire in Russia-Ukraine conflict hints at perhaps easier supply. Gold prices remain steady on hopes of lower interest rates ahead. Now, the jewelry industry continues to see demand shift towards organized players. Favorable regulatory measures are aiding this shift. Reduction in customs duty on gold has also led to reduction in the pricing differential between organized and unorganized players. You can log into Money Control Pro to find out more about the jewelry sector and other actionable insights on the markets. It's the premier destination for all the investing views and financial insights you will ever need, brought to you by Money Control. And alas, with that, it's time to call it a wrap on this edition of the Breakfast Club. Do stay tuned. News and updates will continue on the other side on CNN News 18.
Putting India on the map is close to achieving the impossible. 45 years.
As we count down to Indian of the Year 2025.
And this man is a world champion at the age of 18. It's an amazing achievement. At this stage, reinventing himself. He brought back a hero who was not even known.
India's most eminent personalities discuss and debate to choose the invincible icons of the year.
It might not be the world watching him, but he's definitely bringing India out there.
Who will be crowned Indian of the Year 2025? RP Sanjeev Goenka Group presents CNN News 18 Indian of the Year 2025, 28th November, 6 p.m. onwards. Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group, Growing Legacies, Wardrobe Partner, Reed & Taylor, Bond with the Best. Powered by Reliance Industries Limited. In association with HDFC Sky. Make money matter. Explore more. Express more. LIC. Har pal aapke saath. And Polycab. India's safe, happy connection. This is News 18.
I'm joined by Lieutenant General S.L. Narasimhan, former member of the NSAB. And I want to ask you, sir, India has always guarded its nuclear generation as a strategic domain. Now, with FDI on the table, what concrete safeguards ensure that foreign equity cannot influence operational decisions or strategic policy, sir?
Thank you for having me on your show. A couple of things on this. There are a number of sectors which are held as a strategy for quite some time now. Some time back, of course, we opened the space sector. At the moment, we are trying to open the nuclear sector. So, why this is happening is, there are 2-3 things. One is, when we are going into the production of semiconductors, etc., you need a high fidelity kind of electricity that needs to be given to those companies. And in a grid, it may be difficult to achieve that. So therefore, if you put small modular reactors, that becomes that much easier. That is one point. The second point is, On the environmental issues, we have committed that we will become carbon neutral by 2017. So to achieve that, you need to increase the other modalities of power supply. One is, of course, the hydroelectric power. The other one is, of course, wind power, wind generated power, and third one is the nuclear power. So this is another aspect that I think we need to keep in mind. Without the private participation, I think this may be very difficult to achieve because intergovernmental issues have got other issues, and the technology is difficult to come by. And so, if you open the private sector, it will come up. So, if you look at the statement, there is also another statement which he made to say that bigger projects, bigger nuclear reactors can be done in collaboration with NPCIL. There is a Nuclear Power Corporation of India Limited.
Yeah.
So, if you put all this together, I think this sector is going to be opened up and it is going to be good for us.
Okay.
Is what I'm getting to.
So let me bring in. Okay, so let me bring in Abhijit Iyer Mitra. Mr. Mitra, emphasis nowadays has been on Swadeshi. So will this move actually reduce our dependence on foreign suppliers or risk creating a new long-term sort of strategic vulnerability, the kind that we've had to face with imports of weapons and this, that, the other, because we haven't really gone and developed our own?
I think what is being done here is, look, big reactors are fantastic for, parts of India that can get supplied by sea and things like that. In the hinterland, in the northeast and things like that, you need smaller, almost truck portable reactors and things like. Sure. I'm
joined by Lieutenant General S.L. Narsimhan, former member of the NSAB. And I want to ask you, sir, India has always guarded its nuclear generation as a strategic domain. Now, with FDI on the table, what concrete safeguards ensure that foreign equity...
Astounding transformation. Meet ICC Chairman, the man taking cricket to all corners of the world. Join Jai Shah at RP Sanjeev Goenka Group presents CNN News 18 Indian of the Year. Today at 6 p.m. on CNN News 18. Presented by RP Sanjeev Goenka Group. Growing legacies. Wardrobe partner. Reed & Taylor. Bond with the best. Powered by Reliance Industries Limited. In association with HDFC Sky. Make money matter. Explore more. Express more. LIC. हर पल आपके साथ. And Polycab, India's safe, happy connection.
Hello and welcome. You are watching CNN News 18 with me, Harshtat. The countdown to CNN News 18's flagship event has officially begun. Since 2006, CNN News 18's Indian of the Year has honored individuals whose determination, vision and achievement have shaped the nation's story. This year, we continue that legacy, celebrating the invincible icons who inspire India forward. Watch the grand finale at 6 p.m. today. And before we step into our main story, we'll look at the top headlines of the day. Karnataka power play deepens, war of words over power and promises between Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar on Platform X. Congress High Command steps in as Karnataka crisis deepens. High Command assures issue to be resolved soon. Amid row over BLO deaths and the SIR exercise, poll panel to meet TMC delegation today. Labourer who lured and raped 6-year-old shot in the leg during escape attempt after opening fire at police. Chhattisgarh hosts first All India DGP-IGP conference on security and anti-Naxal strategy and cyber-security dominates the agenda. Imran Khan's son alleges ex-Prime Minister held in secret solitary confinement demands proof of life and family access. 94 dead in Hong Kong fire, massive search underway for hundreds missing in tower blocks. Now shifting focus down south, twists, turns and political suspense in Karnataka continues as Chief Minister Siddaramaiah and Deputy Chief Minister DK Shivkumar remain locked in an escalating leadership tug-of-war. With no breakthrough in sight, the drama now shifts to New Delhi. Both leaders are headed to the capital on the High Command's orders, even as Congress President Mallikarjun Kharge reiterates that a final call will be taken only after consultations at the top. Meanwhile, CNN News 18 has accessed details of DK Shivkumar's strategy to make it to the top job and unseat Siddaramaiah. DKS is playing his trump card, informed Kharge that if he is made the Chief Minister, Priyank Kharge can be the Deputy CM. Closed-door meetings, hectic lobbying and number games have defined the past few days, and now all eyes are on Delhi for a potential final resolution.
मैं इन सबको बुला के चर्चा करता हूं। उस चर्चे में राहुल गांधी भी रहेंगे और मेरे हमारे दूसरे मेंबर्स भी रहेंगे, सीएम भी रहेंगे और हमारे डिप्टी चीफ मिनिस्टर रहेंगे। तो इन सबको बुला के चर्चा करने के बाद निर्णय होगा। हमारी पूरे हाईकमांड की टीम बैठ के चर्चा करके निर्णय लेगी।
Sir, for CM post, do you talk with Rahul Gandhi or Kharge?
No. It is my leaders. I am not in a hurry for anything.
Sir, for CM post, do you talk with Rahul Gandhi or Kharge?
No. It is my leaders. I am not in a hurry for anything.
Now, Siddaramaiah and DK Shivkumar are engaged in a high-profile war of words on Platform X. While Siddaramaiah asserted his commitment to completing a full term, he said, "A word is not power unless it betters the world for the people," emphasizing that his focus remains on governance, not slogans or shortcuts. DK Shivkumar, on the other hand, posted about the importance of keeping one's word, interpreted as a reminder of the party reported promise to make him Chief Minister for the second half of his government, 5-year term. So, and we are joined by Pallavi Ghosh on this broadcast to know more about this whole power tussle that is ongoing in Karnataka. Pallavi, what do you think will take place now? Who is really calling the shots when it comes to the Karnataka power tussle?
Well, I mean, it's just about anybody's guess. As of now, that time for that meeting has not yet been fixed, Harsh. But it's not going to be an easy choice. Well, the DK Shivkumar faction is certainly saying that when 2.5 years back the Karnataka government was formed, I was given a reassurance that he would be made the CM. Well, Siddaramaiah side is also saying that this is not really possible. There was no such commitment made. But, you know, if you look at the Congress's high command perspective, it's going to be a very difficult choice for them to make. First of all, Siddaramaiah comes in from a powerful caste community. He ticks the right boxes. He's been a veteran. He's got a grip on the MLAs, and he also has a grip over the governance. And if he goes and if he's forced to go, he's not going to make it easy for the top leadership. You know, if he actually decides to step down, he would certainly want that someone who is his own becomes the chief minister. That, of course, would be unacceptable. While DK is very measured in his comments, it's very clear that restlessness among the supporters is increasing. And the point that they're making is that he is also a powerful Vokalinga leader. He's been the troubleshooter for the party, a complete staunch loyalist as far as the Gandhis goes. So you cannot deny him this choice. It's unfortunate for the Congress party that they're having to make this choice. But also the fact remains, Harsh, is that the Congress typically has been dragging its feet. They've had to pay a price for it when it was in Rajasthan, in Chhattisgarh. And will they have to end up a price for this kind of a delay? Because 2 quick points. One, it only pushes the narrative of the BJP that the governance has gone a toss because of this power struggle. And the second important thing is, what about the Karnataka Congress cadre? They get confused, they get diffused. And therefore, the longer the Congress top leadership takes to decide, the more damaging it could get.
Right, Pallavi. Pallavi, let's say if the high command decides to go with DK Shivkumar, so will the supporters of Siddaramaiah will be all right with DK Shivkumar being the CM? Okay.
Not. I mean, you know, they are insisting that obviously Siddaramaiah continues because, first of all, Siddaramaiah has been a 3-time chief minister. He knows the works, he knows the governance, and he's the best person to lead the party to the next elections 2.5 years later. Unlike in many other southern states, at least in Karnataka, the BJP's organization is very, very strong. So they are going to put up a very, very strong fight. And his supporters say, Siddaramaiah supporters say, Harsh, that he's the best man to lead the party to the next elections and not DK Shiv Kumar.
Right, Pallavi. Pallavi, stay on with us as we are looking at some details. Now, CNN News 18 accesses details of DK Shivakumar's strategy to make it to the top job and unseat Siddaramaiah. DKS is playing his card. So, he has suggested that top sources tell CNN News 18 that Deputy CM post will be offered to Priyank Kharge and MB Patil, who is a great leader of the Lingayats, as we know, and to Satish Jarkiholi. As we know that Satish Jarkiholi was one of the top contenders who was pitched by Siddaramaiah's own son. And the speaker post to G. Parameshwar, who is the current Home Minister of Karnataka as of now. So that is DK's strategy. And we are also joined by Rohini Swami on this broadcast. Rohini, if we go by the books, Mr. DK Shivakumar was promised the post of CM chair 2.5 years back. What is going to happen next?
Well, clearly right now things are quite turbulent here back in Karnataka, because with this kind of muscle flexing, we're seeing what in terms of the moves that are being made, everybody's in a wait and watch mode. Number one, the Siddaramaiah camp, because their all eyes are on Rahul Gandhi, because both DK Shivakumar and Siddaramaiah believe that the final decision that will take place on Monday, because they've been called into Delhi on Sunday, and once they sit across the table, and possibly then the political messaging will start. In terms of how we have seen the strategy, Siddaramaiah has completed 2.5 years in governance. The camp of Siddaramaiah is seeking questions as to why should the change take place when governance has been very good under him. And they're also seeking answers from the High Command as to what is the need at this time, because he's a person who is the face of the Congress and on which the Congress has won not once but twice now. But obviously, this unwritten code of 2.5 years of handover of power, that's something that only, like DK Shivakumar himself has admitted, that only 6 to 7 people in the closed room know about it. But if this has happened, then well, that talk which will take place between Sonia Gandhi, Rahul Gandhi, Mallikarjun Kharge, DK Shivakumar, Siddaramaiah, and some of the core team of the top high command, well, that will be very, very crucial. Number one option is if it is this court is discussed about, then will the power be handed over to DK Shivakumar? If that is the case, how will the Siddaramaiah camp react? Will they rebel, or who will be? And in terms of finally, it comes down to numbers as to who has the muscle power of MLAs behind them. Number two, if Siddaramaiah is given or told that he would continue for the next 2.5 years, will DK Shivakumar himself rebel, and whether he will be able to garner his support of MLAs and what he will do next. Number three, will the High Command now put a gag order in place and then say we will discuss this in January? Because there are very crucial sessions. One is the Parliament session and second is the Karnataka Assembly session also. So will they push this towards January or March? Because also that is one thing that is being discussed, is that possibility that the High Command will say that we'll sit across the table and do it properly, because finally it's the future of the Congress that is also at stake. If the Congress needs to go as a united front in the next election, this kind of division and this kind of power tussle is going to be look very badly, especially on the Congress. So these multiple options that we have seen, we need to understand that the political developments are by the minute here. So as of now, it looks like all eyes are on the High Command and Rahul Gandhi.
Right, Rohini. Let me go across to Pallavi now. Pallavi, if you could tell our viewers about the relationship of DK Shivakumar with the Gandhis and Mallikarjun Kharge as well.
Well, DK Shivakumar has, behind closed doors, Rahul Gandhi often takes the example of DK Shivakumar, where he says that he's the kind of person you also be like. Now, remember, this is a party which has been hit by a large number of people who are perceived to be close to Rahul Gandhi, like Jitin Prasad, like Jyotiraditya Scindia, RPN Singh. All of them have quit and they've joined the BJP. And that is what Rahul Gandhi would say, that DK Shivakumar is facing many cases. He was arrested, but he's never thought of leaving us. That's the way we all need to show. That's the way we all need to stand together. So therefore, that sense of loyalty which DK Shivakumar, according to Gandhi's siblings, has shown is one reason why the siblings are extremely fond. They respect DK Shivakumar. And apart from his stature in the Karnataka politics, Harsh, he's often been dashed off as a troubleshooter. He came on his own, I still remember, in that Rajya Sabha elections of Ahmed Patel, which was do or die. And he was at that point of time the political secretary to Sonia Gandhi. So those days have not been forgotten. So to completely overlook DK Shivakumar is going to be very difficult. His case is not like that of a Sachin Pilot of Rajasthan or a TK Singh Deol as Chhattisgarh. DK has relentlessly proved himself. He ticks the right boxes about Rahul Gandhi's arguments. And therefore, that is where the strength of DK within the party comes in from. And that is why, Harsh, is becoming even more difficult for the top leadership to ignore the demands which are coming in from DK supporters.
Right, Pallavi. Many thanks, Rohini and Pallavi, for gathering all that. Now we're listening to some more political reactions on the story.
ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳು ಏನು ಹೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ ಈಗಂತೂ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ನನಗಂತೂ ಆಸ್ ಅ ಪಾರ್ಟಿ ವರ್ಕರ್ ಆಗಿ MLA ಆಗಿ ಈಗ ಸದ್ಯಕ್ಕೆ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳನ್ನು ಬದಲಾಯಿಸೋ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿ ಅಂತೂ ನನಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಯಾಕೆ ಅಂತಂತಂದರೆ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿಗಳ ಮೇಲೆ ಯಾವುದೇ ದೂರಿಲ್ಲ, ಹಗರಣ ಅಂತ ಏನಿಲ್ಲ, ಒಳ್ಳೆ ಆಡಳಿತ ಕೊಟ್ಟಿದ್ದಾರೆ, MLAಗಳು ಅವ್ರ ಪರವಾಗಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೊ ಹಾಗಾಗಿ ಬದಲಾಯಿಸುವಂಥ ಅಗತ್ಯ ನನಗೆ ಕಾಣಿಸ್ತಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೂ ಕೂಡ ಕೆಲವರು ಕೇಳಿದ್ದಾರೆ, ಸೊ ಏನು ಬೇರೆಯವ್ರಿಗೆ ಯಾರಿಗೂ ಮುಖ್ಯಮಂತ್ರಿ ಪದವಿ ಕೊಡಬೇಕು ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅದನ್ನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಿಂತವ್ರು ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಅವರು. ಸೊ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಅವರು ಇದ್ರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಏನಾದರೂ ಮಾತಾಡೋದಕ್ಕಿಂತ ಮುಂಚೆ ನಾವೇನೇ ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯ ಹೇಳಿದ್ರು ಅದು ಸರಿ ಇರುತ್ತೆ. ಈಗ ಹೇಳಿದ ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೋಬೇಕು, ಹೈಕಮಾಂಡ್ ಅವ್ರು ಏನು ತೀರ್ಮಾನ ತಗೋತಾರೆ ಅದಕ್ಕೆ ಎಲ್ಲರೂ ಕೂಡ ಬರ್ತಾರೆ. ಇವತ್ತಿನ ಪರಿಸ್ಥಿತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ನನಗೆ ವೈಯಕ್ತಿಕವಾಗಿ ಅನ್ಸೋದು ಖಂಡಿತ ಸಿದ್ದರಾಮಯ್ಯ 5 ವರ್ಷ ನಡೆಸ್ತಾರೆ.
जल्दी हो जाएंगे CM साहब DCM साहब उसको हल करने के लिए सब लोगों ने रिक्वेस्ट किया है, शायद जल्द से जल्द खत्म हो जाएंगे.
There is no question of saying no, but that has to be decided by the High Command. We have no role. If given an opportunity, with my past experience, with my exposure overseas, all this put together with my little administrative skills, I'll definitely do well and definitely serve the people of Karnataka and also keep up the ideologies of Congress.
Significant developments within the Congress party. Mr. Mallikarjun Kharge has said he'll hold a meeting. Do you think this confusion is dragged on for too long, sir?
Now it is going to end now.
दोनों सिद्धरामैया जी हों या DK शिव कुमार हों, वो सब कह रहे हैं कि पार्टी हाईकमान डिसाइड करेगी. खड़गे जी ने भी ये बोल दिया है. तो मुझे नहीं लगता कि मीडिया को इतनी स्पेकुलेशन बढ़ा देनी चाहिए कि क्या होगा. बस यही है कि जो भी डिसीजन हो, सरकार की चलाने की जिम्मेदारी है, कर्नाटका की जनता को जो किए हुए वादे हैं उसको स्मूथली रन करने की जिम्मेदारी है, वो लगातार चलता रहे. और मैं याद दिलाना चाहूंगी भारतीय जनता पार्टी की भी जो रणनीति रही है, जिस तरीके से वो बदलाव ले आते हैं, रातों रात पूरी कैबिनेट और चीफ मिनिस्टर बदल दिए थे गुजरात के, अभी फिर से कैबिनेट रीशफल कर दिया है. तो इस तरीके का जो होता है यहाँ पे एटलीस्ट डेमोक्रेटिक प्रोसेस तो है जहाँ पे चर्चा हो रही है और वो लोग डिसीजन लेंगे.
अभी तो सबसे बड़ा भ्रम यह है कांग्रेस पार्टी का कि हाईकमान कौन है. कांग्रेस का अध्यक्ष कहता है मैं हाईकमान से पूछूंगा, तो खड़गे साहब कह रहे हैं कि सिद्धरामैया जी और DK शिव कुमार जी की लड़ाई हटाओ, मुझे CM बना दो और इनको कांग्रेस अध्यक्ष बना दो. ये क्या म्यूजिकल चेयर हो रही है? ये इसलिए हो रही है कि कांग्रेस का हर व्यक्ति कर्नाटक में ये सोच रहा है कि भ्रष्टाचार का लड्डू वो उससे वो महरूम ना रह जाए.
Breaking news coming in a significant development in the Tirumala-Tirupati Devasthanam Laddu controversy. The CBI Special Investigation Team has arrested another individual, taking the total number of arrests in the case to 9. Former TTD Procurement GM Subramaniam was apprehended from his residence. So that is a major update that we are getting in Tirupati Laddu controversy, and we are joined by Aneri Shah on this broadcast. Aneri, another